Did you have Super Nintendo? Were you just blowing it?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
And then they said blowing is bad because of the salt in your spit. Well, we'll probably have to cut some of that.
Yeah.
Do we start over?
No. Yeah, whatever. I mean, nothing's been great so far. So let's just.
Welcome to the downside.
Wow.
We are restarting this episode because I got the guest name wrong. The wire was buzzing, but we're back. This is after the election. Russell's feeling good because it was Trump. Congratulations, buddy.
Don't
Or
make
was
those
Kamala.
jokes. We're recording this October 7th, so we're a month out. So we don't know who won. But so I wouldn't be making these cocky fucking jokes.
I got 4 messages today saying, why haven't you posted about October 7th? And I said, I did. Russell being on
Did you really
Broadway
get 4
in
messages?
Gutenberg. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, I count that as an act of anti-Semitism, frankly. Okay. My name's Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host Russell Daniels, who I haven't seen in so long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I was going to bring in the guest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Hi.
Say his name.
Hi. Julian.
Julian
Yeah. Sewell.
Sewell.
There
Sewell.
you go. You
Welcome,
got it.
Julian, from New Zealand. You may know him as Paloma Diamond. Are you gonna keep it going? Do you? How much more do you got in you? Is this gonna be a full thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what the people want. So
I know.
yeah. So I'm loving it. I'm just having a lot of fun. Just doing what the people want, what they suggest, what they're like. We want more Paloma. So I'm gonna give it to them.
Now, where do you think the election's going? Because I mean, this literally is crazy to be recording anything before the election for after the election.
We're
It
gonna
really
record
is.
so many things before that.
I mean, a bunch.
yeah.
I think we have to each episode pick a new candidate, one for RFK, one for Elon Musk just buys the country, one for we move to New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah.
You may have come here at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really. Look, I could be totally wrong, right? Because we'll find out when people listen to this. I've spoken to a lot of people, and they
You've
say
been taking an informal poll.
yeah.
Have you been
And
talking
they
to people in rural Pennsylvania?
No, I've been talking to people here.
I've been talking to exclusive among the Paloma Diamond fans. I'm sure Kamala is winning in a landslide.
No, this is the thing. You say landslide because the amount of people I've spoken to, they're like, it won't be a landslide. What we know is that it will be very, very close either way.
Oh,
That's what people have told me. They're like, it will not be a landslide. It
Well-
will not be a landslide.
Well,
But I don't know.
I think the thing is like what's so crazy is that you're like she'll probably definitely win the popular vote, but and then that means nothing anymore. As never,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and so it's just this thing that you're like, oh, we're all relying on a few 100,000 people in this country to anyways.
So who do you think? Let's say it. I think. I got to tell you, I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
at all.
I don't think anyone does though.
Here's the other thing too. I was just talking about with someone the other day. Is you're like when they were like showing these polls, you're like as a millennial or younger people, I'm not answering the phone call to like a number. So like, there's no way those polls like either way it can be that good. Do you know what I mean? But then you're like in your mind, you're like, well, hopefully then like the theory that younger people are way less likely to answer the phone to a random number would maybe play in our favor of like actually.
No, I think it plays that they're not going to go vote unless they do polling. Maybe they do it like Snapchat. They do like send us a tit pic if Kamala, send us a puss. If,
But a lot of people, young people, did vote in 2020. So I think it's just a thing of getting that same amount of big thing.
I do think that like a lot of like young 18-year-old. Wait, is it legal? Is it 18 you have to be here in
For
this
what?
country to vote?
Oh, to vote. I don't know. No,
It's 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is it 18? Yeah, it's 18.
Oh my
My-
God, what are you saying?
I forgot.
My prediction
We're
is
gonna
that
get
all-
Some
hate.
states
We're gonna
it's
get,
17.
Don't put that on the fucking Instagram page. People will be like, these men didn't know that it's.
I think all the 18-year-olds will probably vote Kamala. Like all of those young,
Yeah.
If they
progressive
come out,
left.
if they come out.
I think that they'll
if they come out, yeah.
If they vote.
If they vote.
Yeah.
Well, this must be fun for the people at home who already
I
know exactly what
I
happened.
know. It's like.
we know and you don't.
So sorry. And wait, this is coming out when? On election day?
It's coming out the Tuesday after the election.
We're that far, November 10th?
Yeah.
Or 12th or whatever? Yeah. Oh my
But didn't
God.
it take ages the last time? Like in 2020?
Hey, you got a good point.
Didn't it
There's
take
a
like
good-
days and days and
Okay,
days?
but
So it
there
could
was-
be that we might not know.
But I will say this though, it did take like 5 days or something like that. But I feel like I went to bed November 20th on election night feeling like, oh, Biden, I went to bed thinking like, oh, Biden won. I remember I like knew it was gonna take some time.
We knew it was
gonna
take some time. But I will say, I think we could, if I were to guess, if we're gonna make predictions. Welcome to day 4 of the insurrection of Washington, D.C.
Oh, God.
Things are not
depressing.
looking good.
None of this is fun. This could actually be like we can't actually air this episode.
My fiance, who is a reporter, said that if Kamala does win, which is what everyone wants, that's going to essentially be like the start of a massive civil war.
This is the downside.
He wouldn't like me to say that, by the way. He'd be like, no, don't tell them that I said that. But
You're listening to The Downside.
Can I tell you something?
With
You know
Gianmarco
what's so
Soresi.
funny? I always forget to
We
tell the
always
guys when they
forget.
don't put in
We always
headphones.
forget.
There was theme music playing, and it was perfect.
I was like, what is that?
No, it was just
yeah.
funny because
It's-
first you talk and I go like it's cool, it's a fun effect to talk over the sound music. But then as it hits the second sentence, you go, oh no, they don't realize.
No, see, that's
But
why
when
you
people-
should have told me to put them on.
I know, and people always do it, and we always forget.
Oh, I'll put them on now.
And then
No,
there's-
that's really the only sound cue that matters.
no, there's another 2
in an hour.
Yeah,
Oh, but you can hear everybody a lot more clearer.
Yeah.
now that
Yes,
you've got
yes.
them on. Oh, okay.
Welcome to the downside. Our guests from New Zealand, so they don't know how headphones work in general. This is all new to them. If you're a fan of the show, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. That's how we keep this thing going. And even if you watch, subscribe on the Spotify. It helps us get some ad sales. We both knew you, but then I went to New Zealand on my little tour, and we got dinner. And my God, I believe in a no-tip culture, but I have never waited so long to put in the initial order in my entire life than our meal together. I was in a state.
They took their time, didn't they?
They took 25 minutes
Oh wow.
to take the first order, and you got one refill, baby.
That doesn't usually happen, though. I will
Really?
say that. No. I think it was just a bad day. But sometimes you are going like, where is the waiter?
It happened in Sydney too, though. I went with Tova's family, though, and it was like, and again, I think it's a better system, but it was shocking. It was like the whole 8 of us at a table for 30 minutes before we got a waiter. And I mean a literal 30 minutes. And you go, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Are you tipping here now? Or do you go,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
New Zealand?
No. Oh, God, no. It's custom. You have to tip here, which is just so weird. No, what I find really weird is that most of the restaurants and places that you go to, it's already in the machine. Like 18, 20, 22. I mean, let me
Sure.
decide. Why is it that it's out? Like, what if it's a really bad service?
It was through, I listened to a podcast about how COVID kind of incentivized a lot of kind of the extremes of tipping culture that we're in right now, where everyone's kind of annoyed by it, but it hasn't gone anywhere. I saw a machine the other day, it says 18, 20, 25%. They flipped it. Like I'd be so
That's
fucking stupid. I'd go
sneaky.
left, and it was
Oh.
25% on the left,
That's-
20, 18.
I don't mind. I'm
sneaky.
always hitting 25.
Really?
You're always hitting 25.
Yeah. Unless it's like I don't think I've ever.
No wonder you
not
don't have
done-
any money to bet on elections. I can't even tell if that was from the part that we cut. or we still have it.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think it's. I'm always like, you know what I mean. The only time, sometimes it's confusing is when you're doing at a coffee place and it's just like 1, 2, or 3. Like they do a
But
thing.
25% is like a quarter of the actual price. That is so much
It's
money.
literally like,
Yeah, but I feel like whenever it's an automated thing like that on those machines, it's like for something small. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like for like a meal or something. It's not like I'm like doing that on $300.
I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy.
I will do 20. If I'm doing meals, I'll do 20 to 25% generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, see, I always pick the low one. I always pick the lowest.
Sure.
But again, I can blame that on my ignorance of America and being like, well, I'm from New Zealand and I just don't tip. So.
And the prices are worse. I mean, New Zealand, when I did the gig there, I made 30,000 New Zealand dollars. It came out to $6 American dollars.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I lost crazy. My merch sales weren't good. They said New Zealand's on tough times.
Now, do you understand why I'm moving here?
Is New Zealand on tough
course.
times? New Zealand is on tough times? Or are you joking?
I'm not the right person to answer.
You're gonna ask
about it.
Paloma Diamond. Let's come
No.
coming here and asking Meryl Streep, like, how's the economy? How's the economy here in America?
No, I mean, no, let's just say yes.
Yeah?
Let's just say yes. Yeah. I think a lot of countries are recovering from a very, very difficult, let's say, 5 years.
Yeah.
I talked to someone in Australia, and like it sounds like COVID stuff there was fucking intense. And New Zealand, we were all admiring the Liberals, of course, were admiring New Zealand from afar because we liked what's her name,
Jacinda Ardern.
Jacinda Ardern.
Yes.
And she is the
Prime Minister.
formerly.
Yeah.
Who is it now?
He didn't know that though. That's why he
Oh.
when we were having dinner, he didn't know that.
Yeah, listen, sometimes people learn things. We had a podcast clip recently
Yeah,
where people were very
yeah.
annoyed that it was Busy Phillips like taught us something about women's rights and everyone was like,
we cut
how
the clip?
could they not know that? And I go, guys, I cut the clip. I captioned the clip. I put it out there to tell more people about it.
Yeah.
And what's the response? Why didn't
didn't
you know
you
that
already
already?
know
Oh, well,
that?
thanks for welcoming us with open arms. I can't wait to be on the same team. Jesus fucking Christ almighty.
Do you know how many? And people saw that clip. Not many men didn't know that piece of information. Not saying that that's right that they didn't know it, but it is.
It just is.
It is.
It just is.
It is. And so I think, frankly, a service has been done. And why should we get shamed for we put the clip out? It just was so frustrating. Anyways, whatever.
So you were born in New Zealand.
No, I wasn't.
You were born in Australia.
No, I wasn't.
We had this whole talk.
Good job.
me
It's
guess.
somewhere.
Good
It's
job.
somewhere foreign.
It's somewhere foreign. It's in Europe.
No.
It's in Asia.
Yeah.
It's in Asia.
Japan.
Okay.
Do you remember me telling you this, or did I? It's the reason why I don't sound like a Kiwi.
Yes, you talk. I mean, listen, I couldn't tell you what do a Kiwi impersonation.
I don't know. You know I can't do that.
I can't even do it.
Well, you could if he's from Asia, you can do one of those.
Shut up.
So you're born in Hong Kong.
Yes.
Hong Kong, and
Oh.
both
Yes,
your
well
parents
done.
were there, and they
Yes.
were professors.
Well, technically, my dad was the head of the Hong Kong Geological Survey, and so he did lecture at the Hong Kong University.
And
So-
you were there for a long time.
Yeah, for the first 20 years of my life.
Do you speak Mandarin?
Cantonese.
Cantonese?
I can get around. I like to lie and say, yeah, I'm fluent, and then just do like the train announcements, and then be like, oh my god.
We'd be impressed. Did you have an
I did a
accent for a while? Did you have a Chinese accent? Did you? In the past?
No.
No,
Oh,
where you were
God.
raised. I wasn't saying were you imitating one as a child.
No.
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 I just saw a video and it was a white guy who grew up in China and he had a Chinese accent and everyone
told
thought
me
he was
about this,
making
yeah.
he was making fun his whole life. People go, shut up, stop. What are you doing?
So if I went to a local school
Oh.
where all of the teachers are in Chinese and it's actually done, like the school is taught in Cantonese Chinese,
Uh-huh.
then I probably would have had a Chinese accent.
That's wild.
Or at least I could go into it without feeling like I'm judging people.
Sure.
Because that's just naturally. But no, I went to an international school
I see.
with a lot of expats, but a lot of people from everywhere, all over the globe. So like Australia, and a lot of what's really cool is you get to meet people who are like mixed race and from really interesting backgrounds. You know, like one of my really good friends was like half Thai, half Swiss, or half Pakistani, half Irish, or half Scottish, half Japanese. And it's just, you just meet it's just this, Hong Kong is this huge international melting pot from people from all over the world.
I see. I love that. I think I've talked with you and I did an episode with Laura Ramosa, who's
Yes. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, she also has this deep international upbringing through all these different places. And that's how I feel whenever I travel. I go, America feels, even though we were raised calling it the melting pot, it's just like it's so fascinating. I feel like you know more of the world, you know more of different cultures, and I'm very jealous. I think if I ever had a kid, there's part of me that's like, wouldn't it be cool to not fucking, I mean, who was in my class? It was mostly Irish, half a general white that no one was really sure until 23andMe.
Wow.
Do you have any international students?
No. We grew up upstate New York. It was very, very white. I don't know Irish. I couldn't Irish or Italian,
Yeah.
Something a lot of English probably,
And you were in Hong Kong until what year?
I left to Australia in 2015, and I studied at uni, or what you would say college over here.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I did that I did like a bachelor's degree, which is 3 years over there, not 4, 3. Your undergraduate degree, and then I moved back home to Hong Kong, and I worked full time, and then I wanted to pursue a master's degree,
Do you feel like Hong Kong? Do you feel like is there a part of you like that's home?
Now we're getting really deep because
Yeah.
it's like I have a loss of identity. I
can imagine.
I have a huge identity crisis. Like I don't know where I'm from. Which,
Yeah.
it's like an internal conflict that I'm
Yeah,
struggling
no,
with.
that's crazy.
Is that because Hong Kong changed, or it just doesn't feel like home in general?
Because like my parents are both Kiwis. They're both from New Zealand.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up in Hong Kong, people were like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from New Zealand." And they're like, "Oh, that's nice. Go back to New Zealand." I don't sound anything like a Kiwi, like for Christmas or holidays and vacation and that kind of thing. And they're all like, where are you from? I'm like, "I'm from here." They're like, "No, you're not. Where do you live?" "In Hong Kong." "You're from Hong Kong." But I don't feel anything like I'm from Hong Kong because I don't know the language. I didn't practice the culture, the traditions, the customs. You know, I grew up in a very international bubble. So that's part of the reason why I feel like I'm dealing with this kind of identity crisis, was because I feel like I don't belong to any like part of any country. I don't feel like I belong.
Like,
have you talked to other? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Do your parents now live in New Zealand, or are they still?
Yeah. So they retired in 2020 and moved over.
So okay.
Do you have other international student friends that have that same feeling?
Yes.
Yeah.
And and it's not just in Hong Kong. There's quite a number of us, and we all sound really weird.
Sure.
We all sound very, very just like we're from nowhere. Essentially, we sound like aliens. I remember when I moved to New Zealand to do my master's degree, and like I like bumped into someone and she sounded weird, and I'm like, "Where are you from?" She's like, "I'm from Saudi Arabia. I went to an international school," but she was a Kiwi. Her parents were Kiwis, but she'd grown up in Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, "High five!" Because I know everything that you're going. She's like, "High five! You're in international school." Yeah. And we were able to like bond over that.
Yeah.
Which I think there are a lot of us out there, and I think that I think if you just scratch the surface of any city and you really like meet people, you realize we're actually a lot more international than you think.
Do you think you feel loneliness because of that identity thing? Because where I grew up, I understand it's all America, but like if you told me I never was going to go back to Maryland ever again,
Is that where you're from?
yeah, I'd be fine. But that's more family stuff. My mom moved to LA, so that that changed it for me. Do you still feel like home is home?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like New York's my home, my real home, but like here. But I think when I do visit the area I grew up in, I do feel nostalgia and like certain. I love visiting it.
Do you think like, man, that the Dunkin' Donuts there tastes better than any other Dunkin' Donuts in the world?
Yeah.
Do you ever go back to Hong Kong, or how different is Hong Kong to you since the whole change?
Well, so this is so interesting because actually, if you were to really like get technical about everything, I wasn't born in Hong Kong. I was born in the UK because I was born in 1996, which was a year before the handover back to the Chinese.
Okay.
So I was born technically in British Hong Kong, if you want to get really technical.
Oh, I see.
So then the handover happened, and the British handed Hong Kong back over to the Chinese, and there was just it didn't immediately turn communist. There was an agreement that was made where there was like a period of about 25, I think it's 25 years. Don't quote me on that. Somebody's going to comment on what the amount of time was. But it
Our
was
fans
like
have no fucking
We
idea.
actually discussed this on another podcast. Remember?
Yes, I think we talked about it on
I forget which
Dr.
one.
Jason
Yes,
Leong's podcast
yes,
because he's from
yes.
Malaysia, and you kept mixing it up with China.
No, he gave us he was talking about this though.
Yeah, but because we watched the protest from afar.
Yeah. I was there. There were two major. Well, actually, like they all kind of blend into one. But I was there in 2014 when it was the first kind of big. They call it the umbrella movement, and it was them like occupying the streets. And we never ever thought, my family and I never thought that it would ever like protests like this or political unrest would ever happen in a city like Hong Kong, because it was considered so safe. You could walk home at 4 a.m. in the morning after like a night out in the club. Walk home, without having to feel. I mean, mind you, I am a man and not a woman, but without having to feel like you'll be mugged or like that. It's just such a safe city. Crime is at an all-time low.
But did you think China wouldn't have a desire to that Xi Jinping wouldn't at some point go like, yeah, we'd like to have our rules here too?
It's like, I mean, it's so. I almost feel like I can't even like talk. I'm not like qualified enough to talk about it, but
But you are.
No, I know I,
mean,
am,
you
but
are.
but I also like you must understand, like a very, very privileged bubble, like very
Sure.
privileged. I was not a local Hong Kong Chinese person dealing with Hong Kong Chinese issues, and like I had a very different. I was very privileged, very, very privileged.
Were you up to date? Like, do you remember when Xi Jinping came into power? Like, I don't even know what year.
No, I don't. No, I know when it was in 2014. We had a woman called Carrie Lam, I believe, and I remember in it was
2013.
no. 2014 was some other guy.
So
forgot
Xi
his name.
Jinping became the elected president in March.
No,
of
that's
2013.
China. That's China.
China.
So Hong Kong's different leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what were they called? What's the leader of Hong Kong called?
So I have no idea who it is now. I think it was CY Lung was the
CY
guy.
Lung?
CY Lung was the guy when I remember when I was 2014. I was 18 years old.
Yeah,
And I remember that there were all of these protests happening, and I was old enough to work. And I remember I was staying at home with my dad. My mom was visiting somewhere, and my dad was like, "Oh, it'll all be fine in the morning. It'll all clear up in the morning. You'll be able to get on your bus." And I'm like, "That's Admiralty Station. Like, I need to get off my bus to get on another bus at that station. There were pepper spray and everything." Dad's like, "It'll all be gone tomorrow."
sure.
Wake up the next morning, the whole city, the central business district is occupied. Everyone, like traffic is stopped, is at a standstill. No one can get anywhere. And my dad's like, "Oh, you're gonna need to find another way into work." So I was like, "Oh, okay."
And these protests were protesting what?
These were the 2014. They all kind of the same kind of protests.
Yeah.
Protesting for democracy.
Yeah.
There was a small minutia of people that were also protesting for Hong Kong independence, which is a different thing. But the majority of people who were protesting and who protested in 2019 were protesting for democracy, being able to elect who you want to elect as leader. But the 2019 protests, they were sparked from an extradition bill that was proposed after. Look, I really don't know all the
Sure,
details.
sure. But he
I'm
was
not the
like,
right
I just
person.
remember going from afar. I remember watching from afar from America and going like, God bless. It feels like China's gonna do what it wants to do in this particular
Because-
and that's ultimately what happened, right? I mean, for the most part, it was like
Yeah.
quelled.
Well, this is the thing. So I went back to Hong Kong for the first time in 5 years in
Yeah.
July.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just there in July. And I remember I was like sitting about in a restaurant with someone. I was just like, "So what about the protests? Or anybody out protesting?" They're all going, "Shh," because it's illegal to talk about it now. I didn't even know. I was so dumb.
Yeah,
I was like, they're like, "It's illegal to protest. And it's also illegal to talk about it. So shut up." So I was like, "Oh God, it's really becoming like China now." So
Maybe I shouldn't do stand up there, I guess.
When were you
Don't.
going to?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it, but you know, there's that part that's like, well, can I get away with one protest joke?
No.
Okay.
No, don't. No,
Don't.
seriously, don't. You could go to Hong Kong. Oh God, no. Maybe don't. Maybe just keep everything light and fluffy.
If I was taken to prison, would you help
No.
convincing Kamala to make the trade for some war guy we got here?
Okay. Let me ask you this. How am I helping?
What do you mean? How are you helping? You're keeping the public movement going. You know what happened with Russia?
You want me to like start a movement like Free
Russia,
Gianmarco?
Yeah, free Gianmarco, and you got to keep it in the press. That's
Yeah.
how they got the kid back. That's how they got Otto Warmbier back from North Korea.
So you want
That's
me to
how
do
they
like
got
front-facing characters? And with the hashtag
if you got Paloma Diamond to make a please free.
Free Gianmarco.
If you ever made God, that was the peak of COVID. Was all the celebrities singing "Imagine"?
Oh my
yeah.
God,
That would have been a good one.
Man, remember that?
that was so cringe.
I always wanted to see who sent a tape but didn't get it put in. You know, they weren't quite famous. You know, they probably sent out a big net and then like saw who they got to respond, and then some were like, well, they're not going to make the cut. And then who's like, no, I don't want to.
I feel bad. I'm sure you're a celebrity. You got nothing to do. Someone says, "Hey, we want to make a video to cheer people up. Just sing Imagine." and you just can't imagine how cringy
I
the
know.
final
You
product
can't.
is
You
going to
can't.
be. I think if you have money and you want to help, ultimately you
Do
have
they
to
get paid for it?
No, but I'm just saying,
Oh.
if you have money, if you have a lot of money, you just got to look in the mirror and go, the only way I can help, really,
Yeah.
is to
Wait,
give this money away.
Was Gail Godot? Did she organized it?
Gail Godot?
Yeah.
Gail Godot?
Isn't it Gal Gadot?
Gal Gadot.
Gal Godot.
Oh my God.
Gail
Actually,
Godot.
so I remember doing this for a video. I once said her name, and then somebody was like, Gal Gadot is not how you pronounce it. Apparently, it's Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. Waiting
Gal
for.
Gadot.
But then I don't know. Somebody might like comment on this and be like, actually, that's not how you say it.
Waiting for Godot. Remember that?
Gadot.
Yeah.
Terrible actor.
Who? Oh,
Gal.
Gal. Yeah.
Gal Gadot
Yeah.
and Gadot.
Yeah.
I
I
got my
didn't see
family.
Wonder
I got
Woman.
my family to watch Wonder Woman 1984.
Why
and it
did
was
you
one of
get
those-
them to?
Because it was Christmas. I thought we'd all like it.
Oh, okay. I thought you like saw it and were like, family, you gotta watch this.
No. You ever give someone a bad rec and then they never trust your recs ever again?
Yeah.
I did that with my uncle. I told him to see a musical called Altar Boys. Did you ever hear Altar Boys? It's like
No,
an
but I can only
off-Broadway.
imagine.
It was like Backstreet
It
Boy
was
parody.
Boys with a Z.
Yeah, but it was like a Backstreet Boy parody where they were all altar boys. And it was just like, I think it was before I realized, oh, this is super gay and I love it. And my uncle is not going to love
Wait,
it.
are you gay?
No.
No,
But,
because
like-
when you said girlfriend, I was like, your girlfriend or your girlfriend? I'm so sorry to offend if
but
I offended you.
You know Tova,
Yeah.
that's my girlfriend.
Yes, but when you said
You
girlfriend,
thought-
when I thought you were like, that's
Oh
my
my
girlfriend. I thought it was
God.
your girlfriend.
Like,
Wait, when I said earlier that this was the room we first
No,
made love
na-
in, did
then-
you think it was
no,
like
that's when
you
I
mean like you
realized.
made love or like you
we, like, made love.
You sang
No,
a fun song.
That's when I
you
realized.
made a Spice Girls music video together.
I'm sorry. No, but you've got to look. You posted a photo with you, like
no. Yeah.
What?
And then all
with
of these-
a cock? What was it?
no, you were like holding, and you were topless, and you looked, and I was just like, oh, that's his boyfriend.
No, well,
but
Jay,
then-
Jay is my boyfriend. You know what I mean?
You're like your bromance person.
That
Okay.
was that. I mean, to be fair, that was on Fire Island with my friend Jay, and we were both shirtless
my
at
God.
an all.
Like, come on. That looks so gay. Like, look. Sorry. It just does. Like,
No.
no, even the way you're standing, like you're giving a little
Well,
shoulder.
that's
You're
just
doing this.
okay. That's just me.
Like, no. This is no disrespect. You can be whatever kind of straight you want to be.
No, it's just so funny that even saying girlfriend it wasn't even enough.
Made
It
love.
wasn't even enough.
Yeah, that's so
Look at that.
funny. Imagine you two making a music video in there. It's very funny.
I'm so sorry.
What is speaking of Hong Kong?
Yes.
What is gay rights like in Hong Kong? Did that change too? Is it like don't mention the protests or the boyfriend?
No, I think Hong Kong for the most part tends to be pretty liberal on that front. I mean, I didn't go to a gay bar the last time I was there, but they still have like the nightclubs and the places to go. But growing up, it was very liberal. Like you must understand that Hong Kong is, if you like, technically its actual technical name is Hong Kong SAR, meaning Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, because even though it is a part of China, it's like it's what's referred to as the one country, two systems thing. So it's like a little liberal
Yeah.
zone. Now that liberal zone is kind of beginning to fade away now. It's slowly beginning to kind of become kind of gray and turning back into China. But definitely when the 1997 handover happened, like there was like I said, there was an agreement made to make Hong Kong this kind of special kind of zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
So
go
it
to
was
the
very
UK, is
liberal.
it weird? Are there like similarities where you're like, oh, like do you feel at home in the UK in its own way?
Well, this is the thing. You can totally tell the British influence when you go to Hong Kong. It's very much that. Like they've all got like, double-decker buses. They have high tea. Yes, you can have dim sum, but then you can go and I think it's the Peninsula or the Shangri-La, and you can go and have high tea. And you can go. They have all of these like basketball courts in the middle of the city, and you can play croquet. And it's like you can. It's all you can. And even they have the tram network, the tram system, which is like old school trams.
Yeah.
That I think was like they were initiated in I believe like 1901.
Wow.
So same kind of time. I don't even know if they have trams in the UK anymore, but it's
Sure.
that kind of British influence. You feel like it's all very English.
Surreal. It's like when I go to New Orleans and I feel that like French European thing, or Montreal, and you're just like, oh wow.
Yeah.
I
It
experienced it
feels
here
magical.
with the Dutch because wasn't I really don't know much about American history, but wasn't New York?
You got the expert right here.
Wasn't it? Because like I look at the fronts of the buildings and I'm like, it looks like Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Is that from the Dutch influence?
There was a lot of Dutch here, and there was a whole like Dutch farmhouse up by where I live, which was like the last one of the last farmhouses. It still exists. It's like it's like a museum now. You can go into it, but yeah, there's a lot of Dutch people here.
And were you doing, because you did some theater?
I did.
Did you do it in Hong Kong?
Yeah. So I did community theater in Hong Kong on top of high school.
That's wild.
So
What kind of shows?
she would love it if her name was mentioned. Lindsay McAllister. She, the Hong Kong Youth Arts Foundation, HKYAF. I was in a production of Spring Awakening where I played Moritz Stiefel, with the one with the spiky hair.
Is that the Don't Do Sadness?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that and I got that when I was 15. So and
community theater, that's bold. Was there
we had to sign, like, it was very, very bold for us to do. Yeah. So we
Did
had
you
to
do the
sign.
nudity? No, you're 15. The show has some nudity. We talked about it last
No,
show,
masturbation,
remember?
not nudity.
Oh, in our version, there was a boob, there was a butt. There's masturbation.
They did masturbation. How it was done was somebody like they had a blanket and they just did this with their thumb.
Okay.
So
Well,
we
not
were able
anymore.
to-
Ever since China took
We
over, now they're
didn't-
like, you can't masturbate. You can't
but
even pretend to masturbate.
We
on
didn't
stage.
really do the rape scene. The rape scene was done
Oh my
through.
God, I don't even remember the rape scene.
There is a rape scene when they all the chorus sing "I Believe." Well, actually, no. So it's technically a rape scene in the original play, and then the musical, they didn't want to make it that heavy.
That makes sense.
So they made it like a beautiful first love kind of experience. So they took away the rape
They
element.
went the full opposite direction.
It was like what are you doing? I don't know. It's that kind of thing.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So still rape.
But it was supposed to be, and then this is what happens in
God,
Spring
what are you
Awakening.
doing?
This is what happens in Spring Awakening. They
But
all
they
sing.
changed the parenthetical. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh.
sweetly.
No, but they all sing. They all sing. I believe, I believe, I believe. Oh, I believe there is love in heaven. As they're like having sex, but in the original play, it's rape.
Yeah.
Like it's rape. So
I love that you're
yeah.
whispering,
Sorry.
but still
We're gonna
saying the
bump it
words into the microphone.
Sorry. This feels bad just saying it out loud.
That's a crazy shift.
But then I was
It's a
in God.
crazy shift, but yeah.
Then I was in Godspell where I played Jesus. Jesus also died. Moritz killed himself in Spring Awakening. Jesus died on the cross.
You ever done Godspell?
No.
I did it once. It was fun. It's kind of like, I don't love, like, it's a weird show to do,
But it's timeless. Your parents love
but
it.
the music's fun.
Yeah.
Tova really loves. She's actually going to Edinburgh to see it. Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, I did that once too.
None of those Bible things mean
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with religion in Hong Kong?
Yeah, well, my family and I went to church and everything. So doing Spring Awakening was a bit of a,
yeah.
because there's a lot of, I had to swear and my parents had to watch. I had to say, just fuck it right enough. That's, and I had to sing that. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I was scared my dad was going to walk out of the theater, but then he
Really?
knew, then he knew and he was like, okay, as long as it's for theater, as long as it's for show, then it's fine.
Yeah.
So he never had a problem with it.
So then, did you end up going to a college for theater? Was this like the thing?
Yeah,
you
so
wanted to
I thought
do?
I was good enough to get into a musical theater program, which technically, I decided I wanted to. I think it's a school called the Guildford School of Acting, and my drama teacher in high school went there. She was like, I think you've got a really good shot at doing the musical theater program. So I auditioned, and I got in, but they're like, it's only conditional to you getting 32 points in IB. We did something called the IB diploma. Do you guys have that in the States?
No.
If
Or I
we
don't
do,
know.
we certainly
We
are
don't
not
know.
close to
So
it.
the IB diploma is the hardest high school diploma in the world behind the French baccalaureate. So IB stands for the International Baccalaureate. And yeah, sorry, this is kind of boring. But yeah, I had to get 32 and I didn't get 32. I got 29. So I didn't make it to Guildford. I didn't make it to the UK. And then I had 6 months where I was just working And my dad was like, "Do you want to wait another 6 months and try again for the UK, or do you want to go to do you want to go to college now?" And I was like, "I do." It's like, "We can try Australia." So I wanted to go to Sydney, and they're like, "Oh, applications for New South Wales have closed." Oh, what about Melbourne? Oh, applications for Victoria have closed. Okay, well, what about Brisbane? Oh, applications for Queensland have closed. Okay, well, what about Perth? Oh, Western Australia, still open.
Yeah.
So I went to Perth.
Do you regret it?
No, I don't. I say that because I met some really amazing people in the little, like, the theater program that I did. I did end up studying theater in Curtin University in Perth, Western Australia. So
Is Perth not a good time?
No, Perth is the only thing about Perth is that it's that people don't like is that it's very, very isolated from the rest of the country. So Australia and mainland US are roughly the same size. Australia is far less inhabited though, because a lot of
The middle's just like fucking
it's just desert.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a
called
big
the
rock
bush.
in the middle.
Well, animals, right?
The animals. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I started in Perth because they were like, get Perth out of the way.
Got
Go
it.
see the Quokkas, which are not, which are
Quokkas,
like
yep.
Quokkas are like an island away.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Rottnest
we're-
Did you visit the Quokkas like as a
No,
kid?
I never went to Rottnest Island.
It's crazy. It's one of those
Beautiful.
things. It's where
What
they
is
say
it?
that's the little rat-like animal, and they're bouncing. You see me? I put a picture of it. They look like
Oh,
they're
yes.
smiling.
Yeah.
And you go there, and everyone's like, "You got to see the Quokkas," and they're cute. It's about 5 minutes of cuteness.
Yeah.
You dance with them a little bit. I kept wanting to touch them. They said, "Don't touch them."
No, don't touch them.
But I would let them touch me. And then an Australian came by and said, "Mike, those are wild. Don't touch it." And I was like,
Well,
"Oh
what could
God, am
one
I going
do?
to get
What
rabies?"
could they do?
Oh, they just look cute.
No,
They
but
look-
what could they do if
They're
like
just dirty.
they'd hurt you?
I'm
They
sure if
bite?
they bite.
Or, like,
I'm
something?
sure
They
some of them
probably
bite.
do bite. I don't know.
But we found something. If I started dancing, they would go on their hind legs.
Yes.
So that added another 5 minutes of it. Can I tell you, we took the boat to Perth, and they gave us popsicles on the boat. And we were like, popsicles.
You mean
And
the
then-
boat to Rottnest Island?
to Rottnest Island.
Yeah.
And then after 5 minutes, Tove and I got seasick in a way that I don't think I've ever been in my entire life. And they were prepared. They immediately came out. They had wet compresses for us to put on our foreheads. And it was maybe the worst 30 minutes of my entire
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a bumpy ride.
Oh.
But they clearly, this happens sometimes to people.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
People don't really like Perth because it's so isolated and it's about as far away as Perth is as close to Adelaide, which is its nearest major city, is the same distance as London is from Moscow.
Oh,
That's how
sorry.
far away that Perth is from its
Wow.
nearest. It's actually closer to Jakarta
Wow.
in
Okay.
in Indonesia, I believe.
So you fly, or you would drive to other places? It would take
No.
a long time.
Oh, it takes like I would say a day,
Oh,
day and a
yeah.
half to
Okay,
travel
yeah.
from Perth to the rest of
Anywhere.
to anywhere.
Oh
essentially.
my God,
So that's why
wow.
people just fly.
Yeah.
So you're finally here, but you're boyfriend or fiance?
Fiance.
And like a fiance or like you're gay?
Oh, shut up.
But so you told me he currently there's one news channel in New Zealand, right?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called One News, and it's in an organization called TVNZ or TVNZ if you're American. Yeah.
So one news channel for the whole country,
That's it there. Yeah. One News.
and it's called One News.
It's called One
and,
News.
and they have one, if I remember correctly, one American correspondent, one person in America, and it's his fiance.
Wow.
Reporting for all of America to all of New Zealand.
So we have a direct.
He's got a very important job.
We have a direct line to get news to New Zealand
sure.
about America.
It's just hard to fathom with as polarized as news is today,
Yeah.
a country having one news station.
So there was another one until very recently. There was a news station called News Hub or 3 News. It was on Channel 3. But very sadly, advertising revenue has been at an all-time low because of inflation.
See?
And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And they had to basically close the whole thing down. And 300 people lost their jobs. It was very, very sad. And my fiance was very scared at the time that the same thing might happen to him.
Wait, what would the news be in New Zealand?
So
then?
we do have other news like other sources of news. We have Stuff News, we have the New Zealand Herald, but these are all like websites. One News, there's no competition, unfortunately, because they're the only TV news channel, TV news station. But there are other sources of news. There's New Zealand Herald, there's Stuff, there's RNZ for Radio New Zealand.
Would we be worse off if we got rid of all the video news? If you had to read to get the news, don't you think it might make things a little better?
I have no idea.
Well, thanks for playing along with the theoretical game, you fucking asshole.
I don't know, because I think people, who know in this with all the social media. Do you think people would start reading more? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's like I don't even know what do they just tell your fiance what to focus on? There's so much to cover. Like, is it mostly about just the presidential election at this point? He's just running around everywhere saying.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, he had a very, very big July, and he worked, I think, for about 3 weeks straight, no breaks. And that was, it was the week of the first assassination attempt. And then a week later, Biden dropping out. Yeah. And then a week later, Kamala stepping up. And so it was that that was a really, really tough few weeks for him. But no, he loves it.
No, but if he's doing he's doing these big stories, but because if it's all of America, is he also like being like giving a rundown and then being like, also Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce started dating? Like, is he
doesn't really like talking about celebrity news.
He might not, but I'm sure
he
New
still has to
Zealand
do
is
it.
like.
He still has
That's
to
what
do
I was
it.
going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say people, that is.
Is he good at turning on being like pretending to care? Like,
Yeah.
and
Oh, no, but he does
Travis
love-
Kelce made his TV debut on American Horror Story.
I say that, but he does actually love like reporting. Like when I was last here in it was the second last time I was here, which was in January. The Golden Globes happened, and he put on his little sparkly, blazer jacket, and it was just like, I'm reporting live but he didn't go to LA. He just did it here.
Okay.
But no, he does love doing that and stuff. But no, the live crosses so that when he's live from New York, it's TVNZ1 News. No. When he's reporting live, he is reporting live at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh,
brutal.
Which is 6 p.m. news time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you here now, or are you going back?
No, I'm going back. I'm moving here hopefully in January.
Have you had to deal with his hours yet? Like, are you guys able to?
We're actually okay because, for the first few days I was like jet lagged, so I was staying up that late anyway.
Yeah.
So I was just staying up, and he was like, "Do you want to come with me?" And he does them just outside now because we're based in New Jersey.
Okay.
So we've moved. Well,
are you
he's
helping
moved.
with the lighting now? Are you checking the sound?
Yeah, I'm his little bodyguard.
Yeah.
There's no one around though at that time of night. Yes, there was when we were living in Manhattan. Lots of people around.
You have to be out in the street or like in
out in the street.
Oh wow.
Sometimes out in the street. Sometimes at home in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
Is the street just to give the impression of like, I'm here on
I'm
the
in
ground?
America.
It's could have happened right there.
Yeah.
Like it's just the visual of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he were to walk around New Zealand, people go like, "Oh my God, it's the one person in America we have."
Yeah. It does happen.
Wow.
It happens here as well.
Really?
Yeah, from other Kiwis, from other New Zealanders.
Yeah,
that,
sure.
Yeah, that come in.
Who's recognized more, you or him?
I would say I'm more recognized in the States, and he's more recognized in New Zealand.
Okay.
Very diplomatic answer.
So, how did you view? Are you excited to come here? Have you always wanted to come to America? Do you have any America?
I've always really loved this city. I've not really been a huge fan of LA.
Why?
I shouldn't say that because I've
No!
never.
Listen, we talk shit about LA. I was just in LA. I could talk shit about LA all
just
day.
look. What I'm saying is I shouldn't say anything because I've never been.
Oh.
But from
You know it exclusively
Yeah.
from your
Just so
fiance's
many-
reporting in New York.
well, no, he's been to LA. So many of my friends have been to LA, and people from New Zealand have been to LA, and a lot of, they just complain about the traffic. But then I'm told, this is what I was told by somebody yesterday, that actually the more that you go to LA, the more often you go, each time you go back, you like it a little bit more. Apparently.
I don't know. There's just some hollowness. It's hard to tell. I can't tell if I'm like biased against it.
Yeah.
But like I go to the comedy clubs there and you'll be in a room with and everyone's like a TV star, a movie star. And sometimes the conversations feel so businessy that you go like, we've lost our souls. We're not talking about art anymore. We're just talking about who's got the part in Happy Gilmore 2.
And it's not us.
And it's not us. And I auditioned.
Oh, I auditioned.
With an accent.
With an accent.
Yeah, they said do an accent. I did my Italian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was right. It was the kind of Italian accent that would get me in trouble still. It was so strong.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're good at accents, though. I've seen your voices. You're a...
You know what's funny is that I still can't do the New Zealand accent. You guys
What,
probably...
what's happening? What are you doing right now? What is this for? Well, like
This is just my voice.
But like
what are you doing right
in
now?
In my head, it sounds
Do you
like
think
something.
it sounds like a New Zealander? Sometimes. Maybe it
It
goes.
doesn't sound Australian.
It doesn't sound.
I'll say that.
It sounds like it's related to Australian.
No. There's none of that. There's none of that.
So let me, because I lived in Australia for 3 years,
Yeah.
so there's something that I need to say about you guys Americans. You guys make fun of the whole nar.
Oh, I don't. I
but
hate it.
You are so close, because everyone always gets it wrong. It is not nar, it's no.
No.
Slightly
No.
close.
No.
So it's like you're saying
No.
nar and then no at the same time. No.
No.
No,
No.
You're so bad at it.
we're really bad at it.
No.
Sorry, we're bad at saying no incorrectly. No. It is shocking though. It's so okay. So you can do it Australian. Can you click in?
Yeah, like so. For example, I'd be living in Sydney, but I didn't live in Sydney at the time. I lived in Perth, which is on the other side,
You lived in Perth on the
Perth.
other side.
on the western side. Bloody hell, mate!
Come on,
It's like,
can you
I really can't do it at all.
try it?
Gianmarco, when I tell you I've tried it, I cannot
you can
do it at all.
You can go real ochre, like real, like you know
Like-
those guys
like
on Bondi
crikey,
Risk.
crikey, mate.
crikey, mate.
Yeah, those two words.
Nobody says crikey though.
No one says
Steve
crikey.
Irwin did,
Not
didn't
really.
he?
No.
But then again, that's a very particular like generation. Like
Rest
yeah,
in
yeah.
peace. I remember the day he died. Do you?
No. Yeah, I remember the day he died. He wasn't a big part of my life.
Me either, but I'm just
Was
saying.
he really
I remember.
big here in the States?
Oh, it was big.
It was
here.
really?
huge.
Okay.
I remember someone announced it in class. Like it was like
Really?
they walked in, they go, Steve Irwin died. I remember them, and all of us were like, oh. And they were like, then they told us the story. The
I
tale
remember
of
it
the-
happening
of
at
the
school as well.
Stingray.
Yeah, the stingray. Didn't they kill the stingray too? That's a little
No,
crazy.
do you know what was fucked up?
What?
The fact that after he died, there was reports of stingrays being like killed, captured and killed across
he
all
would
of
hate
Australia.
that. He would hate that.
Yeah, but like that's
I don't know. After that, who knows? He might have had a change of heart.
because you must understand that Steve Irwin Steve Irwin was a national treasure.
He was. He was
He
a
was a
sweet
really
soul.
yeah.
I think his
Yeah.
kids are still doing stuff.
He didn't.
Oh, Robert. Sorry, that was real loud. Robert Irwin, who is his son, he's the new Steve Irwin. He's taken after his
Yeah.
father.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
become like I think he works at the Australian Zoo. I don't know. He works at some zoo or some wildlife center, and he's doing what his dad did. It's so sweet.
Did you care about Steve Irwin when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, I was very young when he died. I think I was only about 10 or 11 when he died. But
But he's Australian.
yes, he's Australian.
So talk to me about this dynamic because I can't tell if you guys are like you're like fuck Australians or whether like you're like if a war broke out you'd be like this is our brother. Like are you close?
There is a rivalry, but we're brothers and sisters. But
You are.
But it's like sibling rivalry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But both countries did they start independent of each other? I watched the whole documentary on Australia leading up
There
to
were
it.
two completely different
Yes.
countries. They've never been together. No.
They've never been
We've-
together.
No, we've never. We've been just Commonwealth. So we have the same monarch. We have the same king, not queen anymore, but we have the same king.
Yeah.
So-
As England.
Yeah. So just like Canada is a Commonwealth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
It's on their money.
Yeah. No, I knew that.
Yeah. So same. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, a whole bunch of other countries. We all have the
king.
The king. Yeah.
But did New Zealand start the same way where it was like the British came and they
Yes.
were shitty?
Yes, it was. I don't know if it was Abel Tasman. I think discovered New Zealand, went around it, and then I think it was someone called James Cook,
Yes, James Cook. I remember. Remember
who
this
was
thing.
the first one to. But this goes back into all the colonization stuff. Which
How
is
do you feel about having
very
a
depressing.
king or like the royal family,
Like
having a monarchy?
When the Queen died, who were you more sad?
This is the
King
thing, though,
Steve
like-
Irwin or the Queen?
That's a really tricky question. to
Not for me.
Not for me either.
But then I wouldn't even say that like the monarchy is that big of a thing for most New Zealanders. If you would just approach them on the street, like the Queen died, very, very sad, but it's nothing compared to what it was like in the UK.
I just think it's such an interesting thing because you're like, she doesn't live here. It's like a crazy. I think as an American, it's a crazy thing to like. I think monarchy. It's for us. It's so foreign. Like it's weird to me that Americans are obsessed with the royal family. In my mind, that's crazy.
Sure, but we have our own versions of the things.
No, we do too. I'm just saying, like, it would really be crazy to me if I was living in New Zealand and like that queen is somewhere else. She doesn't even live in this place.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
it doesn't. It doesn't comprehend for me.
Yeah, but that's us.
That's us.
We
Yeah.
hate it all. We hate
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. That's true. But yeah.
So okay, so you're coming here. You're gonna pursue because it just. What's the furthest you could get? Could you possibly make a living as an actor in New Zealand, and what would that look like? Is there a TV show? Is there a sitcom there?
Yeah, there's Shortland Street.
Shortland Street.
Yeah, that is the that is the New Zealand's version of The Bold and the Beautiful,
Oh.
or a General Hospital because it's set in a hospital.
Have you auditioned for it?
No. Oh, actually, no, I have.
You have?
I have. Yeah, I did a video audition with my cousin. No, my cousin. No, he didn't get it. No, he's been on it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So several actors in New Zealand have been on Shortland Street, I think, at least twice or three times.
Sure. We do that sometimes here at Law and Order. If it's been going on long enough, they'll bring you back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like as a different as a different character is what happens in Shortland Street.
Is it-
32 seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now,
Oh my God.
Yeah, now that I think they've switched to doing it like 3 times a week now, so not every week.
They didn't want to get you after the Paloma Diamond stuff. They didn't say, hey, this will be fun.
Well, I'd love to be, Paloma as like an orthopedic surgeon or something. But
Sure.
No, they have other plans.
Did you? So, but that's the height. That's the height of New Zealand.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a theater scene? Or
Oh yeah,
I saw a show
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
I saw a play about global warming.
I meant like the equivalent of like the West End or something, or
No.
like Broadway. You know what I mean? Like that level
Sure.
of like.
No, nothing like the level of Broadway or
Yeah.
the West End. No, but we have got a lot of great community theater, and there's definitely because I studied for my master's. I studied, I think it was theater creative practice, and that was very much the whole program was very much immersed in the theater scene in Wellington of New Zealand. Yeah.
I think what's interesting about like Paloma Diamond or just a lot of the videos you make is that it feels like it captures what I would consider American culture. I mean, award show, like it was Oscar culture.
Yeah.
And you have to like, I mean, do you feel like you got to, you just spent so much time taking in American media that you understood like what was weird or amusing about it? Or do you think because you're not American that you got to see it from a different angle that maybe we didn't fully see it in being immersed in it? Like, it's just so interesting that that's the thing that you parodied.
Well, when I was growing up in Hong Kong, they played it on TV, like on the local like TV station.
Yeah.
And I think it was like when I was there, I don't know. I think it was in January. So we were still off school because it's in early January. So we're still off school.
Uh-huh.
So we got to see it oh wait, no, that's the Golden Globes. I'm getting confused.
It's all this. It all
But
blends together.
like for example, for the Golden Globes, that was done that's always done in early January. So I was always home alone. My parents were at work.
Yeah.
And in Hong Kong, they would play it live, which would not be at night. It would be in the morning.
Oh.
So I'd flick on TV and the award show would be in the morning. And then I also was a big fan of like the Oscars. I didn't really sit through most of the Oscar shows, although I did sit through the last one. But I don't know. I find it fascinating because I think everyone kind of tunes in. Not everyone, but a lot of people really tune in for it, and it's
still a big cultural moment, even though it's faded, and even though like it's been rough. The last couple, I don't know. It feels like the Housewives, they haven't figured out quite who's the right host. I'm excited to see Nikki Glaser do it. I wish John Mulaney would do it. I did not like the Golden Globes.
What's Nikki Glaser?
Or I did not like the Emmy. And Nikki Glaser, I think she's doing the next Golden Globes.
I just saw that. I think Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are hosting the Oscars.
You gotta get a comedian.
I really loved like old school when they did it 3 years in a row. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
Old school. I love
really
old school.
No, because they did it again.
No,
Yeah.
They're
That's
great.
what. But I like the first 3 years when they did
they
it. It
were
was
great.
so funny
for me,
Yeah.
but it's so rare. They both did Weekend Updates, so like they definitely did like stand-up-y stuff. They were excellent.
Yes.
But in general, it's like where they got who were the two guys from the Canadians for the last one for the Emmys.
Oh God.
Eugene Levy. No.
Eugene
Yeah.
Levy and
Levy.
his son
Dan Levy.
Dan Levy. I'm like for me it's bad. It's bad. They're just not comics. So they had like not their jokes were not up to snuff.
How bad was the last Golden Globes one though? The Joe Coy one.
I mean,
That
disaster.
one was really
disaster.
bad.
And it makes, I think it's so frustrating because it's like, it makes stand-up comedians look bad. And it's just like, if you got Mulaney, it would be a fucking, it's gotta tune in. It's not just like their abilities, but I also think if you're a stand-up comic for that long, they know what writers to lean on. They have their own crew. I promise when John Mulaney goes to write something, he's got 10 of the best fucking comics in that writer's room. So it's lost the magic for me. I liked Billy Crystal back in the day. Chris Rock was great. But now they get a lot of the late night hosts too. They get like a Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel is just doing what he does on late night every night. It's not special. Do you remember like when you were younger being fascinated by any of the actresses, or like who did you stan over? Because I feel like all these characters that you do, there's such a capturing of like an actress. And the just the different ways that they present themselves at award shows.
I think what was an inspiration was everyone, particularly for the Oscars, because it's the big one. You know, it's the big Hollywood one, and it's always at the very end of award season. I was really fascinated by these people, like the public, that always go, "Oh, they deserve it. They need to win this time."
Yes.
They need like for a long time. I think it was Leo DiCaprio.
Sure.
Everyone was like, he deserves it. He deserves it. Give it to him this time. And I think Glenn Close is a big inspiration for Paloma because Glenn Close hasn't won one yet. I don't believe she has.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like,
Did she
Glenn
not win for-
Close.
Did you win a supporting?
I thought you. I don't know.
I do think it's frustrating where it's like,
Glenn Close winning an Oscar though?
I do think it's frustrating when people win, at least for the Emmys, where like a comedy will get it 7 years in a row, and you just go like, well, it's no fun. I think you should be able to win once for a role, and that's all you get for that role. You don't need 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't
for
need 5
Emmys, the
for
Emmys,
Emmys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that
Glenn Close has
string,
never won an
remember that
Oscar.
string of like all those years that Alec Baldwin won for Best Actor in 30 Rock and
he's excellent,
Steve
but it
Carell
just
never won. And
Steve
you're like,
Carell never
that's
won,
crazy.
and it just becomes it's so trendy. Everyone always gets mad at the award shows, and then you're like, well, ask who the governing body is, and it's like the most fucked up, weird system of random. So when people get upset about award shows, I just go, it's your job to not care. For you to care once every year, and you're not dealing with the governing, it's never going to be what you want it to be.
I did Paloma for a while. Like I had this whole thing that, she'd been nominated for an Oscar, 18 times, but she'd never won. And I thought I made that up because I thought 18 was such
Crazy number.
it's such a crazy number.
Yeah.
Until my American friend was just like, oh, she's Susan Lucci. And I was like, who's that?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't know who that was because I don't watch daytime soaps. Apparently there's this thing called the Daytime Emmys. And I was like, oh, wait, I've got to do some research. It is the best video in the world.
What is it?
Go to YouTube and
Yeah, we'll
type
play
in Susan Lucci Emmy, finally
Lost.
wins.
Oh,
She was
finally
nominated.
wins.
She was nominated for an Emmy Award 18 times
my
for
God.
best actress
Can
or
you
something.
play it on YouTube?
And she won on her 19th time. And it is like everyone.
Oh no! Next one, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Let's see it.
It is. It's my favorite
The
thing.
outstanding diva is... The streak is over, Susan Lucci!
Like everyone was rooting for her. And when Paloma wins, it's going to be like that.
Susan Lucci originated the role of Erica Kane on Housewives when the show premiered in 1970. This is her first win in 19 nominations.
Everyone's crying. Everyone's like, oh, you deserve it. And she's just standing there going like, oh, it's amazing.
It's got to be tough if you're another actor thought you deserved it that year. Okay. I think you should, like, in the can, do one of Paloma Diamond winning, and if you ever die, then it's released.
Oh, God. That's so morbid.
That it really is a good idea, though, Gianmarco.
Didn't Mr. Beast do that recently where, like, I saw him puberty or
Die?
whatever? No. No, didn't he have this thing where he's like, he has all of these videos that if he dies early, they will get released.
Oh, like a musician, like Prince or, yeah.
Okay, so I want to try something.
Uh-huh.
So I want, when you are nominated for something someday, I want you to do, I'm going to say, that you didn't win. And I want to know, like, what is your face as I say your name? The camera's kind to you, and then what do you say when you lose? And did you just be what you would do normally? What do you think you're going
to say it to?
No, you don't have to say anything, but the camera's going to be on you. What kind of attitude do you show?
Right.
Okay, so first, and the nominees for Best Josh Gad Understudy, Russell Daniels for Gutenberg.
Oh, he's doing that. He's doing the fist bump.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's very, like, generational. That's like usually guys in their 50s and 60s. They're like,
Yeah, okay. No,
That's
do a
probably
little
when the
bit of
nomination's
that.
coming. Oh God, what else, Josh? And the winner for Best Understudy for Josh Gad, Stephen Badamucci for Book of Mormon. Okay,
just like a fun, fuck it. Who cares?
Okay.
You could rip the thing. You could rip your speech. You could
Okay,
have
well,
the speech.
I'll just roll my eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now do me.
I want more people to play into it. Do you know what I mean? Like in real life, I think it'd be fun for people to
to be a bit
to do like a bit, like when you lose.
It's sometimes, but it's a delicate bit. If you go too far, All right, let me try it. I want to do it. I want it for real.
Okay.
All right, so go, Russell.
Best stand-up comedian, Gianmarco Soresi. Oh, that is real. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
And the winner is Caroline Ray.
Let's go. Okay.
Shout
Can
out-
you do
that's
what
shout
your
out to
real
Caroline
one
Ray.
would be?
Like Paloma.
No, you.
No,
Oh,
you.
me.
You. I want to know you. Okay.
I would just probably do what everybody else does.
All right, I'll do it. The nominees for Best Man Impersonating Woman on TikTok, Julian Sewell.
Wait, is this the nominee? Is
The
this,
nomination
This
for
is
the
the
first one.
nomination.
For
First
the first
nomination.
one.
Okay.
And the best man playing a woman on TikTok nominee is Julian Sewell.
Okay, a little
Okay.
wave.
And the winner for best man playing a woman on TikTok from Australia, Nick White.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, none of us chose gratitude. Not a single one of us chose.
Well, I felt like mine were outrageous enough where it's like, okay, you just embrace the bit of
Sure.
I mean, there is this thing most people I think do a performance and being like that they're excited for the other thing, and I never you're not excited.
I think it's really rude
I think
to
it's-
put the camera on somebody after they've lost
I
an
know.
award.
It
I
is
think
rude.
it's really
just
rude.
go
Really
to the
rude.
one person who won. We don't need to see anyone else's faces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was one actress, I don't know who it was, who did give a little bit of a little bit of an eyebrow raise. I don't know who it was, but somebody did do that. And I was just like, ooh.
I would think it'd be funny if you were like, what? You got really angry,
Yeah.
again. But I don't know. I probably would do nothing. I wouldn't be there. I'd send a Native American, what's his name?
A Native American to lose on your behalf?
Oh, yeah, I guess he
The
won.
Sasheen Little Feather thing.
Oh, that's a funny bit. You know you're going to lose. You do the what's his name? Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. Oh my God.
Send someone on your behalf to lose.
If it cut to that.
But didn't he win though?
He did.
Reversing it. The camera cuts back. There's a Native American. Oh, it's just the reverse Marlon Brando. Oh man.
I'm pretty sure when he did it, first of all, I'm pretty sure when he did it, it was like, as all things, like people were like, that's inappropriate. And like you look back and you're like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
good.
sorry for the Native American that went up because everyone was just booing her.
Sure. But like, I don't know. Ricky Gervais, I think, like people love Ricky Gervais, and I ultimately think he was an interesting host, and he kind
I
of just
like
said
to-
like he's like, I'm sick of rich. No one wants to hear your rich people tell us political takes. But I also go like, well, they won the award. That's what they get to do. They get to do a minute of whatever the fuck they want to. That's what they get. That's what they get, and we're tuning in.
I understood a lot of his anger at like the hypocrisy of things, of like being like on certain shows for certain corporations or things, and then being
Sure.
like going to tell us about like what, you know what I mean. But especially when you're like, it's so rare that someone has a lot of integrity, and it's
Sure.
you know, not saying that he does, and obviously like he's a different person now, or you know.
Yeah, I just go. I think with him, I go, well, you're fucking rich too.
Exactly.
You're fucking rich
Yeah.
too. So
You're
let's
full of
calm
shit,
down
too,
with the judgment.
too. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you don't care about anyone's social cause, but when it comes to animals,
And
suddenly
it was
you're a big.
particularly like fun at first, and then like by like the third time, you're like, okay, you're not going to top yourself of being mean.
There's a
It's,
degree of like, I hate the
crazy.
Golden Globes. This is my 5th year
Yeah.
here. I didn't have to be here at all.
He's burning it.
I hate this
Peter
whole
down.
shit. Dream host. Who's your dream host other than Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, which I would love to see again? Who's a comedian you'd love to see host?
I don't know. I'd like to see Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes would be great.
Yeah.
She'd be great.
Unfortunately, I think ever since Kevin Hart got like, this was a different time, but Kevin Hart got like big. He was going to host the Oscars. They found an old joke where he said, if I had a gay son, I would blow him into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And so they got mad at him. And now everyone who's famous goes, I don't want to do the award show circuit because people are just going to get mad at me. Like it lost the joy or the honor of it. I think that's why Mulaney didn't do it. Wanda Sykes would be phenomenal.
I think you would be a good host.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Listen,
On the 10-year anniversary of the slap, Will Smith and Chris Rock should do it together.
See, that would make me not want to do it.
yeah.
You know, like being like, yeah, I don't know. I would have like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a stand-up comic, but I'd be like, no, but what if something really like you get assaulted like that again? I would be a bit like,
Listen,
ugh.
it would if I could hire Will Smith to show up to a show and slap me, I'd do it. It'd be the best thing to ever. I think that's the only way I'm
been
ever going to
slapped
host the
by Will
Oscars is
Smith.
if Will Smith slaps me
Slaps you.
at like a loony bin in Oklahoma City, and I make a clip out of it. It would be amazing if Will
Oh,
Smith
man.
just went to one
Just
random
went to
comedy
went to a
club.
random comedy club, and then they did crowd work with him. Like, oh man. Oh.
Let's go on to our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop. Russell, you got something that needs to stop?
Yeah, I got to pull it up though.
Julian, do you have a this has got to stop?
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Okay.
It's not amazing, but I'll just do it. I'll say it. I haven't put much thought into it. Okay, so I was playing pool, which I didn't realize was big in America. I didn't think that like playing pool was a big thing over here because it's huge in Australia.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
It's
sure.
big, really big in Australia. Like we had one when I was living in Australia. We had one in the living room.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know if it's big here, but it's big. It's,
Plenty of
you know,
people with basements. When I was growing up, that was like a thing. The cool kids in their basement, they had a pool table.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
its thing.
So there's this always happens. This always happens. We're playing in a group of people, and I go first, and I'm not the best pool player. And then the next person to go from the opposite team does this. I'm just gonna break it up a little bit more. I'm gonna break it up a bit more. That pisses me off. Like, I get it. You're better than me.
That is
But
rude.
that happens so many times. It's every single time I play pool, somebody in the opposite team is like, you know, after a few rounds, I'm just going to break it up a little bit more. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Wow.
How, I guess the one piece of information we're missing here
What?
is just how bad you are. Because when it happens once, I go, "That's rude."
That's rude.
And then if you say multiple times,
Yeah.
I go,
I'm picturing the ball barely rolling up to break the thing and just lightly knocking it, and so it's just all.
I picture somehow you go under and it stacks on top of each other like a building, and they go, "I'm gonna break it up a little bit more."
a little bit more.
Do you think you're bad? Or just like by New Zealand standards bad, you might be like American fine.
I'm pretty bad.
Yeah. I'm not great.
I'm not great. Though that being said, I did win the last game that I played. So, but no, it all like in comparison to people that like probably play it like every weekend.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, I'm terrible.
Are you good?
Really bad at playing pool.
It's just incredible how bad I am at all.
Did anyone
sports.
play pool when we were in?
When we were doing shrooms and
Yeah,
Joshua Tree.
because we had a pool table there, right?
Yeah,
I remember
I think
you
we played
laying
a game
on it one time.
I was
don't remember-
lying on it for quite some
Yeah,
time.
I don't remember if anyone played.
It feels fun to lie on a
Yeah.
pool table.
I
I think we played
that
one game.
room. I don't like when a pool table is in a house.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I always am like, I would never use it for this in my head.
Well, I'd rather play pool than a foosball table. That was a thing that you.
I would not have any games of in
I
my
know, you hate
middle
games.
of a room. But no,
I like the slider on the sand where you slide it. That's a fun one.
Yeah, I do like that actually. Okay, this has got to stop. Is on social media when someone does a post that's like better late than never, and it's like National Daughter Day 2 days after it, and they're sharing it, and you're like, no, you don't get to do it. Better late than never. You missed it. You missed your daughter this year. You have to wait a full calendar year to do it again. It's because they're not real holidays. It's when you're like better late than never and it's National Sunday or National Daughter Day or National Dog Day. No, you've missed it. You've missed it. You just can't 2 days later get us to want to contribute with that and listen to it or look at it. So, make it up to your daughter next year with a better post. But
Is there a National Pet Day? Like, how many of these are there?
they have them all the time, and I feel like it's
The other day
mainly-
was National Single People's Day.
Yeah, and so any of these fake ones, I'm saying, even the real ones, even like if you're like better late than never and you miss Christmas or something, no, you missed it. Do not come on there 2 days later and try to engage and to share. Now this is obviously more of an issue on like Instagram or Facebook, but like it's just no. Anyways, better late than never.
Better late than never.
You missed it.
This has got to stop. I go vintage shopping these days when I go on my weekends on the road. Vintage stores, you need to comb through your shirts. Disney is not vintage. There's so many Mickey Mouse shirts. There's so many Disney shirts. There's so many. Disney is not like alt. Having a Mickey Mouse shirt is not alt. This company is gigantic. It's powerful.
But what
it's
if
not
it was
cool.
like? What if it was like something like from a 1950s like Minnie Mouse mug or something? Like that's pretty vintage.
I know, but Disney has corrupted and for their own financial benefit, their own image. I see Mickey Mouse ears. I can't think of Steamboat Willie anymore. I think about the woman who died because the Disney restaurant didn't follow the allergy list and then said you can't sue us because you signed the agreement for the Disney Plus channel. I see a corporate monster.
What if it's a bad person buying it though? Like they're a monster themselves. And so they're by wearing it, they're like, yeah, I'm bad, and so is Disney.
To me, it's like wearing to have a Mickey Mouse shirt. It's like wearing ExxonMobil. It just is. It's a
Yeah.
conglomeration. It's like wearing an American flag. It's like wearing Apple. It'd be like wearing Apple. That's not a cool.
Okay, yeah.
That's a powerful brand that you are now doing free PR for. It's not cool. Mickey Mouse to me is
So
representative of capitalism at its
vintage
worst.
stores or Disney's got to stop. Just Disney in general.
I think vintage, per your point, like there was a time where it was like kind of, an adult wearing a cartoon on its shirt. Now you're stepping up
see.
for the man.
Yeah.
This is a gross fucking company that I hope to have a show on someday. And you can't be selling it at vintage stores. It's too much. And you go to these vintage stores and there's 30 shirts from Disney. Because why? Because the corporation pumped out so many goddamn shirts to maximize their brand potential so they can make all the money they can. Enough. Show me a shirt from a theme park that got shut down.
Yeah.
A cartoon that ended. It's not cool. It's a fine. I got a Power Ranger shirt recently, and it was like this fine line where I was like, I don't know. Is this overdone? Is this feel niche enough that it's okay? And Disney is over the line for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's fair.
Same with Dragon Ball Z. Like I love Dragon Ball Z, but it's very quickly going over the line. It's not cool anymore.
Oh wow.
Not cool anymore. Let's go on to our final segment.
You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessing. I'll go first. My blessing. I did a crowd work clip with some furries who were in an audience of a show of mine, and
who?
Furries.
What is that?
It's people who put on a outfit of an animal, and they have an identity as that animal, and they have a full outfit. There we go.
Okay.
Furries. You've seen.
No.
You've never seen?
No.
There's no furries in New Zealand?
I mean, there probably is. I just don't know. That to me,
You just thought it was a wild
see,
kangaroo.
that to me reminds me of a Disneyland theme park. Like I don't know. I've never like a party. What is it? A party? Is it a convention? What is that?
It can be a convention. It can be an identity. I think it can be a lot of different things to different people. For some people, they'll have sexual relations in the outfit.
No way.
Yeah.
That is something I've never heard of before.
Yeah, pull up xvideos.com. Don't. It was a joke. Oh, sure. So there happened to be 4 at a show, and we talked. I learned a little bit more, and apparently the outfits are quite expensive. But someone in Australia, I think, or New Zealand, I think Australia, offered to make me a full furry outfit. And they're going to do it. And
What kind of animal?
Well, we discussed it. I thought about it a lot. I texted with Tova, and I said, what animal should I be? I think a cat. And she said, please, we live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Don't get this. And I said, I think a cat.
You
And
could hang it on the wall.
I'm gonna hang it. I'm gonna hang it on the wall here. Maybe I'll do all my episodes in it. We'll see if it bumps up the numbers. We'll get you one too. What animal would you be?
Oh, any animal.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to have fur.
No, they do dragons.
Could you imagine doing like a snake?
Well, I was like, I was gonna
Scaly.
say, I was
I'm
gonna
sure
say, I was gonna say turtle, but then I was like, can that be furry though?
Sure.
Why not?
I
Yeah.
think they could do
Turtle,
a turtle
with hair, maybe. You know, like
a turtle with
hairy
hair.
turtle.
The shell's
Yeah.
gonna cost like 20 grand.
Yeah.
But we'll get it done. But that's so cool to get a full.
That's
to get a
very
full,
cool.
I mean, listen, I'll do a whole show in it. It's hot though.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Well, I'll see when I
Would,
believe it.
if I got you a costume too for a Patreon episode, would you fuck me in it?
No, I would rather you send me that money. But
That's not how gifts work.
yeah.
By the way. If I'm gonna be a cat, you're gonna be a turtle. I think cat fucks turtle. You know, like rock paper scissors.
Cat
I think
fucks a turtle.
Cat
A
fucks
turtle
turtle.
would definitely fuck a cat, I think. Don't you think?
It would take forever.
It's going to be very difficult no matter what way it plays out.
What if turtle's like he's slow in all ways but one? What's your blessing?
Oh, my blessing is our friend of the pod and my friend in real life and your friend in real life, Jackie. She wrote a beautiful little short film, and I got to go and film it yesterday, and it was I had so much fun, and it was a really nice day, and it was just me and one other actor, and it was this young actor. So it was her first ever like thing, and she was great. It was a really lovely little
Like
day.
a kid.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just really nice to do, and it was fun to act in a thing, and
Were you doing good work? You feel proud?
I hope so. I mean, I felt good about it. You never know.
Any accents?
No accents. No, just one.
Not Australian?
No.
I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna.
No.
That was good.
That was better. That was
Russell's-
the best one that you've done.
Russell's better at these things.
I
than
think
he
that if you're
claims.
pressured into it, you're probably not as good when you just kind of off the cuff say it like that.
Do you think? Okay, so White Lotus season 4, you get cast as an Australian.
No. I'm telling you,
You'd say no. You'd say Tova calls, says, can you do the Australian accent? You got 3 days.
I would teach you.
I would give everything I had those 3 days, but I've spent not so much time, but like anytime I hear it and I'm alone, I'll try to do it, and it's so bad. It's really bad. I'm not an accent guy. I can really only do like English and kind of German and
German.
A bit, yeah, but not great. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not an accent guy.
I hear you.
I wish I was.
Me too. Do you have a blessing?
I do. It's a really sweet one, actually. I've been getting a lot of attention and really high engagement on my Instagram platform, and I get a lot of really, really nice messages from like people from all over the world. And I get messages that are like, "Hey, I was having a really, really shitty day, and I just wanted to let you know that your videos brightened up my day." Just like little things like that. But then I got one a few weeks ago that was like, "Hey, hi, just wanted to let you know that I'm going through chemotherapy right now, and your videos make me feel positive about my life," or just like something.
Sure.
Which is really, really nice. And I'm just like, see, that makes me feel like I'm actually doing something with my life, versus just being like a very unserious, silly person that makes funny videos online.
Sure.
It actually makes me think, oh, well, that's worth living for.
That's very nice.
It's very sweet.
Now, where can people find you?
So you can find me on TikTok at Julian Sewell, JulianSewell. That's Sewell, not Sewell. Not saying that you guys did that.
And we'll put it in the description, all that stuff.
And Instagram at Julian Sue, just like the first half of my last name. So SEW, I think because Julian Sewell was taken. So it's just Julian Sue for Instagram. Yeah, that's me.
Russell, what would you like to plug?
Hey everyone, this is Russell. Follow me at Russell J. Daniels on Instagram. And then also, if you're in the New York City area, Uncle Function has a sketch comedy show happening for New York Comedy Festival, the New York Comedy Festival, on Saturday, November 16th at UCB.
Great. I will be in Indianapolis this weekend, November 14th through 16th, and then DC after that. Hopefully we've added shows by this point, but go see me in DC. That's always one of the best weekends of the year. And again, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside for 2 bonus episodes every month. Subscribe on Spotify. It's free. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We are growing. Please help us out. And since this is coming out after the election, let me just say to remember, even Rome fell once, and not everyone there died. They just figured out something new, and we're not all going to make it. What? But hopefully,
I hope this
downside
fun little
is
bit
too.
is still funny when you have this come out.
This is the downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.